What's up, fam? On the podcast today, we have Mackenzie Page, who is a fabulous real estate agent here in Denver, Colorado. However, not only that, she focuses on helping first-time home buyers buy their very first investment properties, but not just buy like their personal homes. She helps them buy properties that are actually going to cash flow, that are going to allow for them to live for way less money in an expensive market. And you're going to love it. You're going to love her story because she didn't start off as like a girl in corporate or anything like that. She actually spent years living in a van on the road as a musician and then scraped up whatever dollars that she had so she could buy her first investment property. And now she's had that for 3 years now and has been absolutely crushing it, was able to renovate her property with the money that was coming in from the house hack. So you're going to love this episode. It's so good. So take a listen and let's dive right on into the show. Yeah, so before, you were literally a struggling artist. Like, I remember when we were chatting and we even met in Portugal, and it was so great to just like really have some quality time with you. But just, I was so fascinated by your journey to get to where you are now, just in real estate. But can you talk a little bit just about what you used to do and also what's still a big passion of yours, but like what your life was like before versus now?
Yeah, so it's very different. Let me tell you, I do not live in a van with 5 men anymore. So I guess in my early 20s, I kind of left college. I don't genuinely know why I was in college to begin with. It was like I was the first person in my family to ever like go, to have, money to go, to have the grades to go. So it was kind of expected of me, I feel like. And so I just did. And then I ended up with a philosophy and literature degree. Rushing, which weirdly enough, I write fiction now. So it's kind of funny.
Love it.
But I then joined a band because I was like, ooh, I love writing and I can write songs. And I had, played a little bit of guitar, and I met in Colorado, there's a lot of what we call picks, and they're where people get together and they play bluegrass music together. And I love it. It's very community infused. So I was going to a couple of these picks because I'm like, oh, I love learning music. I'm always like a forever student. I'm like, what more can I learn? What new thing can I learn? So I then ended up in a band and we toured for most of my 20s. So
how many years was that?
We were a band for 7 years.
Holy moly. Okay, that's a very long time. And
it was,
that's such a huge commitment too.
It was a lot. And like the thing about when you are a touring musician, I lived up in Netherlands, so like in the middle of the woods. So I would just be out on tour. You're gone for like a month at a time. You're living in and out of a van. You're staying at people's houses, who are lovely, gracious humans, putting you up, and you're in hotel rooms or you're sleeping in the van and you're driving every day. It's like really, really not glamorous, actually. Yeah. Everyone's like, I'm a touring musician. I'm like, I can tell you every gas station along I-70 and which ones to hit and which ones not to. You want to talk about I-80? Like, I got you. And it's just not glamorous. I mean, you're spending your evenings in like dingy basements of dive bars, but it was fun.
Yeah. And like a great like 20s, you got to experience so much and travel so much. And I always tell people this about their 20s. Like, some people know what they want to do right off the bat, makes them a ton of money. Sure, that's not most people. And a lot of times you have to get out there and explore and have those crazy wild adventures because you really are going to remember those for the rest of your life. And it's going to help shape you be the person that you are when you're older,
100%. Like, it has made me so scrappy in a way that I never thought about until I got into real estate. And then I was like, oh, I have less fear. Like my fear threshold, my threshold of, I guess, risk is a lot lower because I just lived like a weirdly risky life, like to the point where you'd be like, we don't know where we're sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully someone will take us in. If not, we'll do a Motel 6 and we can share the bed and someone will sleep on the floor. Like, it was beyond not glamorous, but it was my art. And I love my art more than anything. And so I just feel like transitioning into real estate has given me like the freedom to have money to be able to be stable enough to then actually have time for my art. So
completely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what, and so I know we're kind of jumping around a little, but that's what I tell people about real estate in general. Like, I passionate about real estate? Like, I probably am one of the few people that actually really enjoys real estate in the sense, like, I love interior design. I love designing other places. The actual like real estate investing, no, I'm not like passionate about it. Do I want to be managing tenants and stuff? Not necessarily, but it's what it gives me the ability to do. It gives me back my time to go do the things that I really want to do and to go travel and to go build other really cool businesses, to have a bigger impact on other people's lives, right? And so, and that's my big thing with real estate in general. Like, even let's say you love your job, but you just want options. And maybe later down the line, you want to have kids and you want a little bit more freedom. Or maybe you are passionate about art and music and want to be able to have more time or able to invest more in that. Having real estate gives you that ability, you know?
It does. It gives you the freedom. And I think that for me, it was really difficult, right? Because like after 2020 hit, I traveled. So after the band broke up, I traveled a ton. I like was barely in the States that year. And came home on fumes, you know, and just was like, I was 30. I came home on fumes. I was like, I need to get my shit together, kind of, so to speak. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, what can I do that isn't going to like suffocate me, right? Isn't going to like suffocate my soul. And I had a drummer who was also a real estate agent. So he would real estate. And so I was like, okay, like, maybe I'll see if I like this or not. I became an assistant for someone. Then I got my license and was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. Because I do actually love it. It's a weird thing. But what I love about it too is it doesn't pull too much from me creatively. Like, I love to negotiate. Like, give me a negotiation. I will just have the best time of my life. And I love actually having like an impact on the people that I help find house hacks, find places to stay, you know, that are going to be suitable for them and also just able for them to like level up because they're getting the income from a house hack. So I work primarily with people who are house hacking my real estate business because I do it. And I'm like a firm believer that this gives you the freedom. I went to 4 countries last year and was one of the top producers at my real estate agency. So I'm like, yeah, house hack. It's what's up.
Completely. And something I do want to mention too, though, is that you do work hard. Like, you are a go-getter, right? And you put your time. And I think like, especially nowadays, you know, and you could even argue that some of my content, sometimes I'm like, you know, like, buy real estate and you're good and you're free and trouble. But yes, there's work behind it, obviously, you know?
And I think it's those age categories we were talking about before. Like, you go from your 20s and I think especially me, right? Like, I had a good old time in my 20s. Granted, running a band is like running a business in certain respects. I mean, we paid taxes, we did all the things, but it was just not like as serious as I take myself now.
Yeah.
In a certain way. Like, I did and I didn't. It was still just kind of like, I don't feel like I've found, I don't know, in music, there's a lot of waiting around. It's not a quick moving thing like real estate is, so to speak, which is funny because real estate's slow. But so, I mean, like, but music is even slower. There's so much time to hurry up and wait. And I just felt like because I am a hard worker, I'm a go-getter. Like, I wasn't living to my full potential.
Completely.
Or I was like, I need to do something different.
No, I feel that because even in my engineering job, like, I had a really cushy job. Like, honestly, like, if you're trying to get a cushy job, I had a relatively cushy job, but I need to feel challenged. Like, I need to be doing work that's fulfilling, and I need to feel challenged in order to like continue out with my day. And that's why I think like entrepreneurship is honestly a great thing for me. I don't think it's for everyone, but like, I also found, so I recently just turned 30 last year, and I feel like I've been going through the shift of, okay, I'm like ready to provide as well, you know, whereas like when I was really young, even when I got my first house hack, I was just purely for freedom. I was just like, I need to get out of this country. I need to go travel. I need to not be tied down to a job and everything. But my mindset around real estate investing and entrepreneurship and business now is very much coming more so from like a longer term, more serious provider stance. And I feel like that happens to folks a lot when they turn 30, you know?
Yeah, your 30s are like your grind time. You know, it's like the time to like grind truly. And I feel myself in my mid 30s, even now, just like pushing the envelope even further, because I have now proof that the grinding has, and here's the thing, I'm not like a promoter of hustle culture.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's the thing. We work hard, we play hard, though.
I am doing this with a glass of wine in
Yes.
hand. Like, there is still the fun part, but I think inside I do have a little bit of fear of like, I didn't do shit in my 20s. Like, I gotta hustle. That being said, like, the outreach I have because of music has allowed me to help other artist friends get into homeownership in a way that isn't just going to be like, cool, here's your $5,000 mortgage immediately. Have fun. Like, to where it makes sense for them to go from renting to purchasing a home. And then getting on that train, because that's it. It's a moving train and it is never going to stop. And if you can't get on it, you just run alongside it, and it's harder and harder and harder with inflation going up.
Totally. I mean, have you seen the cost of eggs?
Girl, enough of me. I got chickens. I cannot get over.
I'm going to come over because I remember I had some of your chickens when you came to my house, or not your chickens, your eggs when you came to my house. So like, I actually am going to come over and grab some eggs.
I seriously do, because I feel like I'm like rolling in the dough. I mean, to be fair, chickens are a hobby. They are expensive little bitties. So, I'm not making any money, but it's really fun.
I love that. Okay, y'all, do I have something exciting for you? Now, I just came out with a brand new free training on exactly how you can get started investing in real estate within the next 3 months. Because if you're someone who wants more freedom in your life, the ability to travel the world and do the things that you actually want to do in life, you're going to want to listen up. Trust me. Now, this training is freaking awesome. I literally go in and spill the tea on the number one strategy that is working right now, like literally today in today's market. And I go over how to look at deals and make sure that they actually cash flow, and how to set your properties up so that you can run them from anywhere in the world. Like, I literally have managed my properties from over 6 different time zones. So if you are stuck in analysis paralysis, you don't know where to start when it comes to real estate investing, but you know that it's something that you want to do in the future, this training is going to be for you. So to check it out, click the link in the show notes or DM me the word hack, like HACK, on Instagram, and I will send you the link. Now let's dive back into the show. Can you tell me, so, I know we were talking about, not having that first like $5,000 mortgage payment, just being like, here's a house, like take the payment and run, but versus buying something that's actually an investment and can pay you back so that you're not kind of stuck paying this mortgage by yourself. So can you kind of tell me about your first property that you got, the strategy that you decided to take, and like how it works?
Yeah, my story's an interesting one. So we're back to 2020. Your girl did not have a job. I went to California and worked on a weed farm for 6 months, made like 30 grand on the weed farm, came back home, was just like, what do I do with myself? That is kind of when I started to get my license. I found someone to be an assistant for.
Yeah. And real quick, would you recommend that people, because a lot of people are looking for side hustles or other businesses to go into. I remember I got my real estate license when I was younger, just learning about real estate, and became an agent. However, I considered being someone's assistant, but at the time I just didn't have the time, right? Like I couldn't commit to someone, which is why I just kind of solo did it. But I definitely think I would have gone further within it if I had become someone's assistant. So I guess what would you recommend for anyone else who's thinking of also doing that switch?
1000% work under a top producer. If you can, so you do need reserves. Like I was not making enough money, like working as an assistant. And for me, who's always been an entrepreneur in my life, being someone's assistant was like an ego drop for sure. I had to really like hone it in, which is a good exercise, right? It's a great exercise to put yourself totally in the place of service, because real estate itself, you are in service to your clients. So I think absolutely, because I definitely, first of all, didn't want to commit the time without knowing that I was going to like the job. Right?
Yep.
I want to just like do.
Oh my gosh. Literally, that is gold. Like that is straight up gold. Because a number of people that come to me, they're like, I'm thinking of getting my real estate license. I'm like, you don't even know what the job is yet.
You
and
don't
you're
know.
committing to spending like a few $1,000s and you don't even know if you're going to like it. So why don't you go
even
like
know.
get paid?
And also you don't know if you're used to a consistent 2-week paycheck, you will soon learn what the difference is. It's less of a time for money versus a value for money.
Mm-hmm.
And so you really have to have a mind shift. I never really had the luxury of a 2-week payment. I'd be in office. They would fire me immediately. But I've always been an entrepreneur. So I always was kind of like hustling in that direction. So it definitely, I think being an assistant to a top producer got me doing real estate before I had clients.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to learn through her clients in a way that was very like coddled. I'd be like, what do I say to this? What do I say to this agent? How do I write this in this contract? And it's because the school teaches you absolutely
Nothing.
absolutely
Straight up nothing.
barrier to entry. And to be fair, a brokerage, they're gonna give you a few classes, but they don't have a lot of honestly money, which is crazy because you pay them a lot. They don't have a lot of money to like put towards education. And it is one of those trial by fires. I think that in general is real estate in a nutshell. It kind of is trial by fire. Like you are kind of going to gamble any way or which way you do it. You do as much research as possible. You get yourself as prepared as possible, and then you just jump and hope you can swim.
And it's the same thing with real estate investing too. Like I think that's honestly the biggest thing that stops people from even getting started is this unknown. And like you have to be okay with the unknown. There are things you can do, there's research you can do to kind of help you feel more comfortable taking the leap. But at the end of the day, at some point you have to take the leap.
You have to take the leap. And there's, I think getting a circle around you. So like having an assist or having a person you're working under, having your circle that other investors, like your mastermind, things of these nature are only going to help you to feel like I have people behind me if things go wrong, you know? So I guess getting into our first property. So I had no job. Partner had the job, but he had no money.
Oh boy.
So I love helping people partnership buy. So like we were not married, we are still not married.
Yeah.
We did kind of like a pseudo prenup. So it was essentially everything that would happen if he dies, if I die, if we both die, like what happens to the property, if we break up, do I get my money off the top? What does he get in return? Those kinds of things. So we spelled out every single scenario. He got approved for like 400, I think, and 40,000, 430,000. I mean, it was like not a lot.
Yeah.
We were very like scraping. Neither of our parents helped us. We didn't have family money. Like I had money from growing weed. Like it was really clawing our way to the top because that's what you have to do. Like if you want to get ahead in anything in the life, like anything at all, you really do have to like have a one-on-one with yourself and be like, I've got to make sacrifices to make this happen. Like
totally.
And it's an unfortunate reality, but also not because it's very controllable.
Yep.
Right? Like it's a very controllable thing to be like, okay, I'm going to take this big risk. And I just believed so when we moved to Denver, I actually we rented because we were kind of coming off fumes off the weed farm and like, shit, we're like, we got to get out. So we moved to Denver, and in Denver, we were staying in a girl's house and she had renovated the garage into. So I so luckily got to see house hacking firsthand. I didn't know about it before then.
Totally.
Literally her tenants. And I was like, wait a minute, you're living over here and then you're spending half your time in South America. And then you come back and, she was doing it different because she was building it out.
But I love that. That is, I mean, even when I think about how I like first really started thinking about house hacking even. So this was when I lived in New Orleans. At first, when I moved there, I was like living in an apartment complex, all of that stuff. Then I wanted to move somewhere that had more lighting and was cozier. So I ended up finding this beautiful duplex in a really awesome part of New Orleans near Tulane. And I was living upstairs, and then there were other tenants living downstairs. I was just like, that's so interesting. And like, one person owns this whole building? What? Like, that just blew my mind. But that was like my first intro to being like, I could probably do this.
It's helpful to see it, you know, because I think if somebody would have told me that, I'd have been like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And since he was doing long term, and I was like, we could short term rent.
Yep.
So we literally 6 months later find a house, came back on the market. That's another thing, like finding your little opportunities. Like this house came back on the market, buyers fell out. So we ran. It was literally the exact same footprint as the rental we were in.
Oh my gosh.
So funny because I was like, I didn't even have to get creative. I was like, the garage had already been renovated into another little living room space. I was like, let's just put up a wall, add a bathroom, call it a day. And we did. And like the scariest thing of your life is cutting a door into the outside of your house. I remember that day just like peeing my pants. Being
Oh
like,
my God,
we don't even live here yet. And here we are chopping into the brick.
Oh man.
Put a door. So like in the beginning, especially, I feel like it is a lot of like, holy shit, what am I doing? Flying by the seat of your pants. But like, they're the only pants you get your whole life. So like, just do it, you know?
Yes.
Like you'll learn, you'll pick yourself back up. You know how to pick yourself back up. Like, I think that is like something that I'm constantly telling myself. I'm like, this is crazy. This is absolutely, I just poured a gigantic patio in the backyard and I was like, this is fucking crazy. You know what? This is going to pay back somehow. Like,
exactly.
You do your numbers. So that's kind of how we got into our house hack. We did a shit ton of the work ourselves. I will never hang drywall again. Love me some trim, but no drywall. So since my partner is getting his plumbing license, so that's kind of we had that in our back pocket. And that's another thing. Like, talk to your circles. Who do you know that does stuff? How can you trade with them? How can you be value to them so that they could trade with you? You know, there's just ways to get kind of scrappy about it, I think, especially in your first property. And I help a lot of clients do the same thing, you know, because it teaches you grit. And I think grit is like really important in your grind time because the world will try to kick you in the pants.
Yeah.
Constantly. And in real estate, especially.
Oh, completely.
And in art's the same. Art is no different. Like, you get kicked in the pants all the time with art. So,
well, and I think honestly, that's just life, right? No one's life is smooth sailing, sunshine and roses all the time. And if it is, who are you and what? Like, also, like, life wouldn't be, you know, like, I feel like I've learned and grown so much just because of getting like kicked in the face like so many times, right? Like, just so many times. And sometimes I'm like, okay, universe, I get it. Can we stop? But then other times I'm just like, no, I need to go through this so that I can help others. And I have so much more knowledge and wisdom. And, you know, I have belief in myself that I can figure anything out because I think for what most people, the biggest issue is that they don't even believe in themselves. They just don't believe that they can actually do it. And like, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to believe you can do it. Otherwise, you will never get it done.
100%. And I think because I think we both had a similar experience where we got to see someone doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that if you are the person, if you're listening and you're like, okay, like, yeah, sounds great, you guys, like, cute story. But how am I going to get a house hack? Like, try to find people in your area that are doing it and be like, can we be friends? Like, can I add value to your life? Because I hate the don't ever do. They're like, hi, I'd love to pick your brain.
Oh my gosh. If anyone ever tells me to pick my brain, I just will ghost you. Or I've been trying not to ghost people and being like, I'll try and like give them a way, just a better form of feedback, you know? But I hate the term pick your brain so much.
It's just like, you can do the same thing, but you can be like, see their lives, stalk them. I'm telling you to stalk them. See what they do, see what they could need.
Yes.
And then go in with a value add and say like, hey, Olivia, I see you always take amazing pictures. I actually have a camera. I would love to take you out for a photography session. Maybe we could grab lunch after. You'd be like, hell yeah, I'll get some free pictures and then spread some wisdom at the same time. It's that. It's like go in with the give, and you're going to receive so much more on the back end because you got to learn somehow.
Okay, I absolutely love this because actually so I hosted a retreat. Wow, it's been 2 weeks now, which is crazy.
Although I'll
Thank
keep my
you.
very successful.
Thank you. But one of the folks who came to the retreat, she was kind of asking me, how do I find mentors for certain different things? She has her own business. And I was because especially even for the retreat, I had a few bigger folks come who like they're miles ahead of me. Like they are light years ahead of me. The fact that they even came, I'm just like, thank you.
I love this.
But a lot of that was because I've been supporting them ever since I've known them in terms of, reposting their content, providing value to them, sending them things that I think would be useful, not to get anything out of it, simply because I think you're amazing and fascinating and I want you to succeed. And if you want to come to the retreat, that would be amazing, but also no pressure,
100%. I mean, it's how I started my real estate career, right? Like I was the top producer I was working under, she had just had a baby. And so she couldn't do like a lot of driving around, running around. Like I was making $15 an hour. Like you cannot live off of that. Like I had reserves. I had to do it smart in that way, but I also like live like a peasant. So it was because I was like, I need to know what I'm getting myself into and I need to accelerate as quickly as possible.
Totally.
So I think through learning from other people is that acceleration as quickly as possible. And so anything you're trying to do, I think like providing value to someone who is and making friends, honestly, just make friends like to people who are a few steps ahead of you and you can learn that way.
If you've been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely love fashion. Like I am always in bright, colorful clothes. I'm just a bright and colorful human. Even right now, I'm wearing a fabulous green dress, if you can see me on YouTube. But I also just go to a ton of different conferences and retreats and events, and I'm always wearing something different. And everyone always asks me, Olivia, where do you get your clothes from? Now, this isn't some Instagram influencer thing where it's like, oh yeah, everyone asks me. No, actually, everyone does ask me where I get all of my clothes from. And the funny thing is, I actually got rid of half of my closet years ago whenever I started nomading because I just hate clutter and don't want a ton of stuff. And I'm just not like a stuff girl. And 80% of the time, I'm actually wearing rented clothes from Nuuly. Yes, this fabulous green dress that I'm wearing right now is from Nuuly. I know, I don't actually buy clothes like ever, really. I mainly rent. And that's because, number one, I get bored of clothes easily and I like to change my clothes all the time. That's why I am legitimately always in a new dress. Number two is I hate clutter. Like I just hate having a crazy full closet where I can't find anything and it's just such a mess. And then number three, I am always traveling. And sometimes it's hard to pack a bunch of different stuff in clothes. And I like to travel light. I also take a lot of pictures of myself. So I like to be in different outfits. And sometimes I even get the rental sent to wherever I'm traveling to. That way I don't even have to pack it with me. And this way I just get to wear way nicer clothing than I usually buy. Like literally over the last 3 years, I have rented over $150,000 worth of clothes, but I've spent less than a tenth of that actually on clothing. And that's why I absolutely love Nuuly because they have so many different things, so many fun items. I love that they have really fabulous brands like Farm Rio and sometimes even McDougall, which is a luxury brand. I've rented $1,000 dresses from them for the same price as my membership. And it's great because they have super classic items, but they also have fun staples in there too. Because you can rent everything from dresses to coats to everyday outfits like jeans. Now, you're actually in luck right now because I have a special link where you can actually try a Nuuly subscription and get $30 off of your first month subscription. So use the link in the show notes below to try Nuuly out or go in and type oliviatati.com/Nuuly. That's Nuuly. And I have a discount code in there. Go ahead, try it out. Let me know how you like it. It has been a total game changer for me to level up my wardrobe. So go check out Nuuly. Remember, oliviatati.com/Nuuly or go use the link in my show notes. Completely. And I love that you said, you had to live as a peasant, right? Because especially with, there's a lot of corporate girlies out there who listen to this podcast, and there's lifestyle creep, right? Where you just
Girl,
get
that's
to a
my
point.
issue right now.
Yeah. But so you really do. You get to this point where you get comfortable in whatever lifestyle you're living in. You just have to think for yourself, like, okay, am I going to cut back? I remember when I was trying to pay off my credit card debt and I was trying to save up for my first property, I went balls to the walls. I literally would go to dinner with friends and not get food. I would just sit there. Like I was just like, I don't really care if I look weird right now. I'm paying off my debt and I'm saving up for a property. I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
You know?
You really do. Like the peasant life is, is the way to go, because you got to ask yourself, do I want brunch or do I want financial freedom? And then when you put it in perspective of like that, then you're like, oh, yeah, I don't need brunch. Actually.
Yeah, the decision becomes easy when you know what you're doing it for and where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
It really does. And for a lot of people, I'm like, you don't want it bad enough. And that's okay. I think too, it's okay to not want it bad enough. There are some things I say I want to do and I realize actually, I don't think I want it bad enough. Like, I don't think
100%.
I'm willing to put the work and effort to do it. And that's okay. But just get honest with yourself and really like have a hard look at yourself in the mirror and be like, is this actually for me? And is this what I want to do?
You just hit the nail on the head, like wanting it bad enough. And I think especially as you get to like, I guess where I'm at now, where like I have a thriving business, I have a thriving house hack, and I'm in a networking circle of a bunch of women who have a bunch of properties. And I'm over here like, do I want another one? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I like tossing money into the stock market now that it's low. I'm just, for me, it's like, it's hard because a lot of times you are surrounded by a certain thing and you're like, is that what I want? Is another property what I want? Maybe not right now. Like, what else could I be doing? So it's a constant evolution of like asking yourself, do I want it bad enough?
Completely. Well, and I even think about, so I also like have just so many friends who are real estate investors with giant portfolios. And I have way more fun than they do. Like I love my life. I love that I can pick up and go to Italy for 3 weeks or 4 weeks and not be worried and not be stressed out on my phone. And I love that my real estate portfolio basically runs itself and I can turn off my phone and it does its thing, right? And right now it's not worth it for me to go buy more properties because I did what I needed to do with my basic like real estate investing portfolio, in the sense it covers my living expenses, it covers my lifestyle, it cash flows enough that I feel good. Like, yes, I could go out there and buy 10 more properties, but then I won't be living the life that I want. And right now I'm so much more excited about just entrepreneurship in general and building up my coaching business and really understanding marketing and stuff like that. So it's like, you got to sit back with yourself and think about what you even want for yourself,
Girl, goal setting is like my number one because that changes constantly. And like, I think you're right where you're saying like, oh, do I want another property? The portfolios, the people around you, you're like, God damn it, I don't have enough properties to be in this circle or in this room. And it's just like, everyone's journey is so individual, but it's like the key is knowing exactly what you want. So like you could ask me and I'm like, I want to be a published author. I want to have enough properties to make me X amount of income. And I want a thriving real estate business that pays me X amount of income. Like, boom, that's it. And then once I get to that income, like I'm having a hard time where I'm like, when is it enough?
Yeah. Like where is Well, and that's where my goals are constantly shifting. So like right now I'm really focused on building my coaching business, obviously, but something for me, like I really want to buy real estate in Italy. I want a boutique hotel there. I want to create this whole experience, but I'm not really doing it for the money in the sense of, this has to cash flow X amount of dollars. Like I'm doing it as a passion project, right?
Which will probably make you more money.
Exactly.
We're doing it for X amount of dollars. Like I love a passion play.
Yes. Like literally like my love and my creativity and everything is going to be infused in every part of this project. And I'm so excited about it. It's also something like, I don't really think I want investors on it. Like I want it to be mine. Like I want it to be my thing. But that completely goes against like, oh, well, getting to this number of doors and cash flow and all of that. But you have to understand, like, by the things I'm motivated by are things I'm passionate about, at the end of the day. And so I think like even with real estate investing, number one, first, you just have to get started. But number two, the more you get into like properties and stuff, you start to think about like, what do you actually value in this lifetime?
Yes.
Right. And what's going to take you closer to that goal?
Yes, knowing very clearly your goals, what that looks like, and then reassessing like every quarter, because it's going to change. And I think that even too with real estate investing, it's like, yes, you got to get in, period. You got primary, like that is like number one, baby. That is just going to be a beautiful asset that will pay you forever. And then from there, it's like, do you need 5 properties or could you get away with 2 properties? Like, you want to do currently what I'm going to do, because Colorado is a really expensive market. So it doesn't make sense for me to go and buy, like I could do it right now. I could go and buy another residence and rent it out, but it doesn't make sense for me.
Totally.
We're doing the renovate. So it's like a BRRRR version of with a house hack.
Yes.
So our house currently, we have been house hacking for the last 3 years. This last summer, most of the money from that house hack was saved for the renovation of the whole house. Because it was awful for 3 years. Talk about sacrifice. So we renovated the whole thing this summer. And now we're kind of doing the chill, right? Because it's seasons, because you'll burn out if you just push. So I'm like working on the yard and I'm like projects. But then the next move will be to midterm, leave the furniture.
Yep.
Leave the furniture, midterm both sides, and then do it again and rinse and repeat.
I mean, that's literally what I did. Like my place in New Orleans. Yeah, like my place in New Orleans, I lived on one side, rented out the other. And then last year, almost this time, I was sitting in my house in New Orleans after a big trip and was just like, why am I here? And so now it's like both sides are furnished midterm rentals and they're great. Like they are so great. I've got like, even the people staying there, they're there for a year on either side, but they're paying midterm rental rates, And I have a cleaner that comes every single month to keep up with the property, which is amazing because that's, a big fear that a lot of people have is, okay, well, you get a long-term tenant, you don't know there's a problem. That's why I baked into my numbers, having a cleaner come in and,
And then it's like you're doing it slowly, you're doing it safely, and you're also doing it where the passion is ready for it, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get bored at one point when this house is done. I'm going to be like, what's my next project? I already have a name for my next Airbnb. I'm like, because like your first time you do it, it's not like, it's cute over there, but like, I could do this better.
Oh, for sure. Like I looked at
that.
my previous properties versus especially like here in Colorado. I'm like, we went above and beyond.
Exactly. So like my actual house, I'm like obsessed with.
Yes.
I've got it to a point where I'm like, yes. And the other thing I love about this is that, so I know a lot of flippers and they have to flip to a certain perspective, right? Like your buyer. With your own house, you do it how you want it. And like my house is like maximalism meets vintage meets little bit of boho. And I'm like, that is going to be a great midterm rental one day because it isn't boring and like normal house or whatever.
Completely.
So, it lets you creatively kind of do whatever you want. And I love real estate because it is flexible.
Completely. 100%. 100%. So I know you work with a lot of first-time home buyers. What's the biggest mistake that you see for people trying to get that first property or that first house hack?
First mistake.
Or either a mistake or just something that people don't realize they need to be taking into account.
I mean, I think mistake number one is waiting, honestly.
Yep.
Like, I think it's letting the fear get in the way. Like, there's one thing of being logical and reasonable, and then there's another thing of letting fear get in the way. And I think the mistake is that you're running numbers and you're like preparing yourself and all of these things. It's like at some point you do kind of just have to jump. And I think the mistake is not letting yourself jump, honestly. And then we can go into real mistakes also where it's like people will find the first house and they'll be like, this is the one, we love it, but we've only seen one house, so we're not going to get it. Oh man. And then for months later, they're like, I wish it was that house.
Yep.
I think what it is these like mental constructs around fear and around like, what should I do? Versus listening to your gut. And if
oh my gosh, yes.
If your gut is like, this is it. And if your gut is like the house we bought was our second house we looked at. Like the first one I put an offer in on and lost. And then the second one, like I wasn't like actively shopping and I've seen 25 houses because at the end of the day, if it hits what you need, it's right. And it was my gut telling me this is the one. I understand what I can do with this house. And I know it's the location is right, like all of the things. So I think knowing what your gut wants and then knowing, like silencing all of the other voices that are not your own. Because
totally
that are going to be like, but you should do this and you should do this. And then listen to the people that your real estate agent who you've hired, your advisors, but they're going to tell you stuff too. And if it does not fit with you, then be like, absolutely not. Like you really just have to trust yourself and know that you can do it.
Completely. I 100% agree with that. So we are going to go into the last 3 final interview questions that I ask everyone who comes on the show. So number 1, what does your ideal perfect day look like?
Oh God, my ideal perfect day actually is like quite to what I'm doing. Sometimes I do have to pinch myself when I'm getting all like moody and shit. And I'm like, I actually like love my day. So
I love it.
I've been doing the morning miracle. If you don't know
oh my gosh, I did the miracle morning for like, this was when I think when I got my real estate license, this was years ago, I was obsessed with the miracle morning. Now I have like my own version of my miracle morning, but yeah.
I am obsessed with the morning miracle, which is similar to The Artist's Way, which is another great book, but artists kind of do it. But so I wake up, I do my morning miracle, I hit a spin class, I do a little bit of work, and then I love to do like a lunch with clients or friends, do some showings, end my day with a glass of wine, writing my book in an adorable little coffee shop, and then going to dinner with like my partner or friends.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Oh,
and then gardening in there somewhere because it's
of course, depending on the day of the week.
Exactly.
And number 2, what's your mantra?
Ooh, God.
Or just something you tell yourself over and over again.
Everything is always working out for me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is so huge. And you have to like genuinely believe that for yourself, right? Like, because I believe that too. It's just, like, there's no way to fail. Like at the end of the day, there really is no freaking way to fail. Everything is always working in my favor. Yeah,
it's a lesson. If it's a failure, it's a lesson. And like, I have these wine glasses that have sayings on them, which sounds cheesy, but I swear they're beautiful. But one of them is like, success is knowing that you're going to fail and getting up every single time afterwards.
Ooh.
And it just really, truly is that. Like, if you can just keep going, like you will succeed. Like there's no other way, So
completely.
Everything is always working out.
I love that. Okay. Last question. What does wealth mean to you?
Freedom.
Yeah.
Period.
I feel that. I feel it. Drop the mic. Okay, we're done here.
I'm done. That's it.
Oh, I love that so much. Mackenzie, what is the best way for people to reach out to you?
So my Instagram, I'm sure you're going to link all the things. My Instagram is probably where you're going to find like me day to day. You can find a lot about my business there. I'm currently writing a book about house hacking too. I will have that out. I have a lot of case studies because I've been able to help a lot of people get into the Denver market, which is expensive. So that, and just Google Mackenzie Page Real Estate Denver and you'll find me. Yeah.
I love it so much. Thank you so much for coming, Mackenzie. I know you have already impacted so many and you will continue to impact so many more.
I'm just so grateful. Well, thank you for having me, girl.
Thank you so much for listening to Wonderless Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.